Kingdom is a Netflix original Korean series, and this is the second season that I'm reviewing. If you're just popping by and you think this is the first season review, or you haven't seen season 1, I definitely would suggest watching that first before watching this review, because I'm going to talk a little bit about season 1 to talk about what happens in season 2 without doing spoilers for season 2. But you have been warned. Zombie spoilers here. So season 2, there are 6 episodes, and the end of season 1 left off with quite an interesting cliffhanger. We had seen what the zombie ghouls had become, but they weren't able to come out during the day because we were still learning about the law and we didn't understand what affects them, what basically makes these type of zombies tick, what is the law behind them. And so in season 2, we get quite a few of the answers that we've been wanting. I have to say, the first episode of season 2 is epic. The grand scale of the sheer amount of people that they had to use as extras. Zombie hordes reminded me a lot of like World War Z and other zombie horde films. But because it's set in the Joseon period, it's such a contrast to what we normally see. And I think that's part of the reason why this series works so well, is because we have samurai outfits, we have swords, we have great architecture, grand scale epicness that you would normally see in like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all of those type of epic scales. And so this time period is Joseon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And so we have this contrast of worlds between zombies and just the sheer clarity and costume designs and set designs that is so different to what we're normally seeing. I think it was really fun to see what happened in the first season. And then because the story and the lore is so different between the politics of the world that's going on there, it really took us by storm. And I think that's probably why season 1 was so good. But you would have been really frustrated having to wait this long because of that cliffhanger at the end of season 1. So now we have some of the answers that we've been wanting to. The Crown Prince is kind of doing his detective thing again. He is the main protagonist, I would say. There are a number of others, but he is still the main protagonist. You follow him as he tries to basically find out what is this mystery, where did it come from, why is it happening, and how do we stop it. And in amongst that, we have the political unrest. You know, it's very Game of Thrones in that way, where you have these different who wants to be king, I want to be king, and you have these people in the background weaving their ways into trying to have more power. It's always about power. What I really enjoy about the series is the way it's filmed. The shot selection, the cinematography, both at day and night, especially at night, the way they use shadow and firelight, the dancing flame shadows, and then people standing and just drifting in and out, the use of sound during these really great cinematography, large scale moments, the use of crane shots so you can see overhead just the hordes of zombies pouring through while your heroes are running away, or heroes running on rooftops and you're seeing hordes pouring in and out, and then having the, you know, jumping to a close shot of a zombie ripping somebody's face out. It's very cleverly done and it's very well edited. When it gets going, when the pacing is fast, you're on the edge of your seat most of the time. There is a lot of dialogue in between, and they kind of jump back they kind of jump around in timelines to kind of give you a bit of a backstory of where this came from, and that it does slow down the pace quite considerably, and I think some people might get bored. I for one didn't, because I really enjoyed the costume designs, the set designs. You get a real sense of the culture, of what it means to do certain things certain ways. Certain things have to be done in a very right way, otherwise, you know, because it's all about culture. And I think putting that into the mix and having them understand with, you know, kind of flashback sequences and then jumping back to what's happening in their present, I think that's a very nice way to do it. It slows up the pace a bit, but then we get back into it. There is a storyline that's not black and white. You have to figure out for yourself where they're going with the story, but the political story, you're always kind of asking yourself questions. What's going on? How are they going to do it? How are they going to resolve this? What is the best thing to do in this situation? Obviously, so the story lends itself to you being on the side of the underdog, who is the Crown Prince. He's had a lot of things done to him unjustly, but you can understand why the other people did it. They're craving for power, their way, they want to run the country. That kind of stuff is always very interesting to have intermingled in this kind of zombie story. the last episode can give you the idea that we're not going to get any more Kingdom, that this is going to be it, there's going to be no more. But I can say by the time you reach the end, there's a sort of reveal. I'm not sure what they were trying to reveal, but there is definitely more stories to come. So if you're about halfway through episode 6 and you're like, oh no, I really love this series, they're not going to do any more, they're definitely doing more. I think, because the story lends itself to a wider world, more storylines. I feel like this particular Crown Prince story has been concluded, but there's more to this world that they're going to go and do. So I'm looking forward to that. The cinematography, the acting, all of that is very good. One word of warning. If you wanted to watch this in English, you can do, because obviously I always like to watch in the original language. I watched half of the last episode in English, and it's okay. There's a lot of missed mouth movements to English to Korean, because obviously the words aren't on the same, so you can only sync up so much. A lot of the time it doesn't match up, and that is a bit off-putting, but the voice work itself in the English language is okay. But I would suggest, if you can, watch in the original Korean language, watch in the subtitles. There are two very good, different, distinct type of subs for English. There's audio descriptive and there's normal English. If you were reading audio descriptive because you need those descriptive words, I think they're okay. They're a bit better than some I've seen. But I would watch just in normal subtitles and have the original language, so you get the subtle nuances of the acting and the emotions really thrown through to you from screen to view. And I think that's great. This is a very good series. I think I'm going to give this a solid A. I'm not sure it deserves an A+, because I think it does dip slightly, and there are a few issues with some of the special effects, especially in the water with big like ice blocks. You could see that it was computerized, it's CGI, and that took me out of the moment for a bit, but that's just a slight niggle. On a whole, this is a great series. If you haven't seen season 1, definitely would check that out. If you thought season 1 was good, I love the epic moments in season 2, just as fun in season 1. I'm a big fan of this series. I'm hoping that we're going to get season 3 pretty soon, that we don't have to wait like a really long time. Thanks so much for watching my review. Check out my other content, membership options, short films and stories that we have in the membership options. Check that out there. We've got a cornucopia of content on the Ruby Tuesday. Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.